Hi, it's Steph, and today we're going on a little adventure. I have some errands to run, and while I'm out and about, we are going to pop into a couple of stores and see what they've put out for gardening related spring items. So let's go ahead and hang out and look at some spring things. I stopped at Walmart to pick up a few things that we needed for the house, as well as some Valentine's treats. And a couple of weeks ago, I had done a video on all of their new gardening inventory. And so I'm just checking around to see if they've gotten anything new. Walmart has started to stock up on their planters for the season, and I've been seeing some really pretty ones online. So while I was here at the store, I wanted to see if I could find them, and they do have a couple in stock. So this one here is by My Texas House, and it is a tall planter with this beaded detail. Let me see if I can show you on the ground. Look at that. It's a 16-inch tall planter in the white color, and I really like that beaded accent that it has, and it has a stone finish. What I like about it is that it's plastic, which means that it looks like stone, but it's really lightweight, especially when you fill it up with soil. That's really important. It makes it easier to move around if you need to. And it says that it has easy knockout drainage holes, which is excellent. So all you need is a screwdriver and maybe a hammer, and you can get those right out. You don't even need to drill them. And it also comes in black. These are $24.97 for this tall 16-inch planter. So this is what the black one looks like. It has almost like a gray finish. Let me bring it to the ground so you can take a look. Here it is in black. And you can see the detail a little bit better on the white one because this one has some plastic on top, but it has the beaded trim on top and on bottom. There's this one here by Better Homes and Gardens. It's called the Hawthorne Collection. It's a 14-inch planter. Again, it has that stone look to it and this off-white coloring. This is also a really pretty one, and this style is $24.97 as well. It also has one of those drainage plugs that you would just open up. I would certainly add a couple more drainage plugs to this one, or holes rather, maybe another 3 or so. This is also a really pretty one. It's an urn style planter by My Texas House. It is the Asti collection, 16-inch. It is the black, but weather and fade resistant, and it has knockout drainage holes. This one also has that little bit of the beaded detail on the top as well as on the base. These are really nice quality planters. Nice thick plastic. It looks like there's a couple of drain holes that you can knock out, again, using like a screwdriver and a hammer. Just punch those out. Drainage is super important in containers. And look at this large one here. I actually really love it. I am looking for some big planters because the bigger the planter, yes, it does take more soil, but it also retains moisture a bit better. And so I'm trying to replace some of my smaller planters for larger planters. This is a great one here by Better Homes and Gardens. It is the Mosswood Collection. This is 22 inches. And this one looks like you do have to drill your own drainage holes. I don't see any in there that you would knock out, but it comes in a couple of different sizes. So this large 22-inch one is $54.88. And then they have this one here, which is 18 inches. Yep. And that one is $34.97. I have a similar style by my back door in the brown color from a few years back. And it's like a 16-inch. And it looks exactly the same. And I really like the style. It has a nice kind of clean, modern aesthetic to it. But this is one that I've been seeing everywhere as well. And it comes in 3 colors. It comes in this kind of stone concrete look. It also comes in a terracotta color as well as black. The Alder Collection planter. This is 16 inches. It has this ribbed detail, but it actually looks really high end with this really pretty concrete look. Super lightweight. And it only has 1 drain plug. So again, I would go ahead and drill at least another 3 or 4 drain holes in there just to make sure you have proper drainage. Here is the Adler Collection planter in the gypsum color as well as that terracotta color. That's what it looks like. It's kind of like a tannish brown. I really like, again, the stone finish and that ribbing. I think it's really pretty. Also comes in black. And these are $29.97. Here's another really great urn planter. This one is also a stone finish, super lightweight. Look at that. Check for drain holes. It only has 1 plug, so I'd add a couple of more holes there. And this one is the Better Homes and Gardens 20-inch urn, $28.97. Here's another large planter by Better Homes and Gardens. It's the Terra collection. It's 18 inches, weather and fade resistant with easy knockout drain holes. It's that terracotta coloring with that stone finish. And let's see, it has one drain plug, so maybe add another 3 or 4 for good drainage, but nice and lightweight for such a large planter. That's actually a really good size. Now, anytime that you have larger planters, they're going to hold, again, more soil, but more moisture. So they're less likely to dry out like small pots. Small pots equal crock pots, especially in the heat of summer. This one here is $39.88. I have a couple of basket planters that I always get questions on when I show them in my videos. A couple of them came from Home Depot, and I have a couple that came from TJ Maxx. But look at this. They have one by My Texas House. It's the Ainsley collection. It is a dark brown planter with this kind of wicker or basket weave finish. And it has knockout drain holes, weather and fade resistant. And this one here is 16 inches, and it is $17.88. We are at TJ Maxx, and they have started to get a bunch of spring stuff as well. You can see they're all decked out for Easter. There's a few St. Patrick's Day things, but I'm actually looking for a blue and white planter to replace one that I broke last season. So we're gonna look around and see what we can find. I was already checking out this cute little pedestal small bird bath. You could sit this on top of a table in the garden, or even just kind of elevate it in a garden bed, fill it with some water, maybe some rocks at the bottom for the pollinators. Very cute. It has a stone finish. It has some weight to it. $19.99 for that, with the little birds in the corner there. Very cute. They're just starting to put some things out. They have this end cap here with some planters. The size of these are more appropriate for house plants. They're a little bit small for me for outdoor plants, at least. I have a couple, but I'm trying to get away from doing too many small planters. This is a pretty blue and white one. It has kind of an irregular shape to it. And they often nest their planters, so they have the larger one with the smaller ones inside. So if you're looking for a set, you know, these places usually have more than one size in certain prints. This is a pretty one, has a scalloped edge. They're really reasonable for planters here. Look at that, $7.99 for this really cute porcelain planter. It's probably a 6-inch or so, and it does have a drain hole and a built-in saucer. This one is super cute, but I could see these little decorative pieces being broken off fairly easily. But let's check it out. It's $16.99. It does not have a drain hole, so this would be one that you would sit a planter, maybe in a plastic liner inside of that. And then they have some more. This one's also very pretty, but again, I could see these getting knocked off. I have been seeing a lot of these little plant risers, so if you have house plants that you need to elevate because maybe they're a trailing variety like a pothos, these are really great, and $14.99, and solid wood. And they have quite a few here at this store. Look at this, they have these low bowl style planters. These look really cool with succulents in them, because succulents can get pretty dry, so you don't need a ton of soil for them. They're really drought resistant, and they have 3 different sizes. The smallest one is $12.99, and the largest one goes up to $24.99. I can't see what the one in between is, but really pretty blue color. And then you can see they also have some plant stands behind there. So this plant stand has a marble top with these gold feet, $24.99. I have been really into plant stands lately because I have some plants that are getting bigger, and I'd like to put them on the floor instead of having them on tabletops. They have some of these wicker boho style planters as well with the plastic liner inside. They have a few different sizes, $39.99 for the large one, and these smaller ones are $29.99. Now you can see that it does have a liner. There is a plug there that you can pop out if you wanted a drain hole, or you could just sit a plant inside there in a plastic liner, and that will help keep the water in the planter if you don't pop out that drain hole, which means you can use them indoors so that the water doesn't get onto your floors. But they're true wicker material, so these are more for indoor use. Sometimes they have some that are plastic, and you can use those outside. They're more weather resistant. They have some more plant stands here on the floor. This one here is $24.99, the little bit larger one, and then they have a couple of smaller ones. And these are, let's see, $19.99. Very pretty decorative wooden top. But check out these planters right behind them with these patterns. They have that one with a tiger, this one with the really pretty tulips. They're gorgeous. And then of course these faux floral kind of topiary balls that you can just sit on top of a planter. If you don't want to worry about watering things, these could be pretty on a porch. They probably will eventually fade. They most definitely will, but you can get a while out of them looking pretty good from afar. $29.99 for those. That one just has some white flowers, and this one has kind of almost looks like maybe a begonia look to it. But check these out. I tend to go for solid planters, but these are really pretty. $19.99 for this larger one and smaller one here. So this is by Martha Stewart, these topiary balls, $29.99, and the smaller planter is $14.99. Some decorative garden statues, or what my husband likes to call tchotchkes. Look at this one with the two geese, $29.99, and it's pretty lightweight. So easy to put away after the season. And then this turtle, look at this. So cute with the stone on the shell. Very cute. Here's another bowl you could put out for our pollinator friends with some water. Look at this, a skateboarding frog. And there's a skateboarding bunny as well. It's the only kind of bunnies I want to see in my garden. And then these bird baths are really pretty also. They are cast iron, $39.99, and they're in this verdes or green finish, and they're a pedestal style. They had these last season as well. They're a good solid piece, nice and weighty, so they wouldn't knock down easily. A very pretty accent for the middle of a flower bed. A sleeping kitty. Let's see if I can lift it to see how much they are. So this one is $19.99. Very cute with the little birds. The geese were $29.99. I think we looked at that one. And then here's another really cute bunny. Oh, that one's really heavy. This one feels like it's concrete. Let me see if I can check how much that one is. It is $16.99, and it is heavy, so it's most definitely concrete. And then if you have a partner, a husband, someone who loves to grill but is also into birds, check this out. It's a kettle grill shaped bird feeder, and they have it in the green as well as the red. So cute. Make a great Father's Day gift. $19.99. And look at this cutie. It's a Dachshund. Pretty lightweight on this one, $24.99, and it does say that it's outdoor safe. It's by Martha Stewart. And they have some more planters. That one says grown with love, $12.99. This one with the tulips is real pretty. $16.99 for that one. But as you can see, there is no shortage of garden statuary at the moment. Look at that corgi and the family of geese. And of course some gnomes. Okay, I absolutely love this planter. Has a light green kind of botanical print, has this pedestal style, and it does have a drain hole. I have a house plant that I think will be perfect in that, so I'm gonna go ahead and pick it up. $16.99. So it turns out that these are UV resistant, these flower balls that we were looking at for $29.99. And look at this. There's actually a chain on it, so you can hang it. Let's say you have hanging planters outdoors. This would be a great alternative to having to water a hanging planter. And check out what's right next door to the grocery store, Ocean State Job Lot. It's a chain here in the Northeast, but they have really great gardening items. So let's go ahead and take a look. Great price on seeds here at Ocean State Job Lot. Normally they're 40% off. You can see the tag there, but it looks like this week they're having a sale and all of the burpee seeds are 50% off, which is awesome. So whatever the package says, it's 50% off of that. And they have really great selections in terms of flowers as well as vegetables and herbs. This is a really cool plant, this celosia. I grew it for the first time maybe a season or two ago. Makes a really big statement in a bouquet because people like to ask what it is. It looks like a brain to me, doesn't it? It's really interesting. And These here, the Canterbury bells, I purchased my pack of seeds here at Ocean State Job Lot about 2 seasons ago, and I've been working through them. I have winter sown them for the past couple of years. Last year they bloomed for the first time because they are biennial. So the first year you'll get foliage and root development, and then in year 2 you get these large, beautiful bell-shaped flowers. Really pretty. I got some purple ones and some pink ones. So $2.99, this would be $1.50 for this pack of seeds. It's an heirloom perennial, although mine did only bloom on year 2. We'll see if some of the plants come back as perennial because I did leave them in the ground. But if you're looking for seeds to get started on your winter sowing or your indoor seed starting, and you have an Ocean State Job Lot nearby, they have a really great price on their seeds. And they have lots of organic fertilizers, and they actually carry the tones. And this is where I stock up normally on my fertilizers. Now I'm looking specifically for the biotone, which they do carry every year, but they don't have it quite yet. So once they do, I'm going to stock up for the season. But plant tone, they normally have a big bag of it, as well as the holly tone. And I use that in late winter, early spring to fertilize all of my perennials, and the holly tone for my evergreens. The holly tone is excellent for all of your acid-loving plants, rhododendrons, azaleas, hollies, blueberries, and all of your evergreens, with the exception of boxwood and arborvitae, which do not prefer acidic fertilizers. For those, you could use something like the plant tone. And the garden tone they are for like vegetable gardening, and those are great as an amendment to your soil before you get started this year's vegetable garden, because as you grow things, the soil gets depleted, so it needs to be topped up with some more nutrients for this year's crops. And that is usually where the plant tone goes. And they're all 27-pound bags, around $24.99 has been the price for the last several years. They also have the liquid fertilizers by Espoma, the cactus, orchid, indoor, as well as bloom and grow. Now this grow fertilizer I use for fertilizing my indoor seedlings. So all of the plants that I'm growing under grow lights, once they have their first set of true leaves, I'll go through and fertilize them at half strength. So you use only half of the amount that it reads on the bottle. And the bloom fertilizer is great to utilize for all of your blooming annuals outdoor during the season. You would just add a capful to your watering can and fertilize your annuals about once a week to keep them blooming beautifully all season long. And up top there, they have the indoor fertilizer, which actually I purchased last year for my indoor house plants, and I'm all out. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab one for $7.50. Great price on this. Also going to pick up one of the grow fertilizers for my seedlings. I've already started to grow some things indoors, and it is a really great way to pass the last few weeks of winter. And Ocean State Job Lot has the best price on terracotta pots from anywhere that I've seen. So even if you have only like a box store near you, a Home Depot or Lowe's, but if you're in the Northeast, definitely check out Ocean State Job Lot because they will have a better price. They have saucers, they have planters in all different shapes and sizes. I actually have one of these that I've had for several years now, this bowl style planter. I have some succulents. I did like a little succulent garden in them, and they look really cute. They have that almost like a whitewashed terracotta, and they have the traditional terracotta, all different sizes, but I'll give you an idea of the prices in just a moment. But look at this really pretty rectangular long planter. Isn't that beautiful? And these are only $20. They're probably about, I would say, 2 feet, 20 to 24 inches. And there is drainage on the bottom. Look at that. These are the Made in Italy terracotta. Now this is probably a 12-inch planter here for $8. This one here is the 10-inch for $4. And then they have the 8-inch for $2.50. And I believe the 6-inch is also that price, but such a great price. They even have these here with a rolled rim for $9. And this is probably an 8 to 10-inch. They also have lots of the coconut core lined hanging baskets and these window baskets or trough style planters, and they sell the refills as well. So if you need refills, the 24-inch trough cocoa liner is how much? They are $6. And then they also have these, the 24-inch wire basket with the liner for $10. And they have different styles. That one at the bottom is a 30-inch for $12. And then of course they also have some hanging baskets. So you have some options here. They have a white round one for $7, and then these square style in the black finish for $8 each. I actually brought you here last spring and I purchased two really beautiful coconut core lined wrought iron style planters, hanging baskets that I put some Boston ferns in. I don't see them quite yet, but they've had them for a couple of seasons, so my guess is they're still bringing things in. And these here are a cone style for $8, and then this one here is also pretty for $7, and these are 14 inches, and the cone style is 12 inch. And then this one here has like a scroll pattern, 12 inch square, $8. And then these here. So that one looks like it has a butterfly, and that one's $6. These three are $6. And then they also have just the liners up top here. The 12 inch is $3, and the 16 inch liner replacement is $5. They also have some really large, lightweight plastic planters. There's this really pretty gray one, and then these here are $30. They have them in this tan and in blue. And this one here has that rough stone look finish, and these are $39.99. That is a big planter. I don't know how big it is exactly, but it's got to be at least a 20 to 22 inch, and it has a drainage system at the bottom there as well. Pretty soon this aisle is going to be filled to the brim with a bunch of different trellises, and you can see here these are great for growing things like clematis up against a wall or a tree. They also have lots of shepherd's hooks and different iron decorative hooks. So the double shepherd's hook is $15, and then they have the singleton on the side as well, and that one is $12. These are nice and sturdy and thick. This trellis here is $15. My mom actually had one for a while leaning against her light post with a clematis on it, and then they had to rework the area and the clematis died, so she removed the trellis. I was looking for the wire peony rings, but they haven't put those out yet, but they do have these in the box. They have the large one that's 19.5 inch diameter by 38 inch height, 3 rings, 5 stakes, and this one is $15. And then they have the smaller one, which is 13.75 inch in diameter by 30 inch height, 2 rings, 4 stakes, and that one is $10. And you can see they kind of look decorative. They're black, and these could be used year after year. If you haven't had a chance to stake your peonies yet, it would be a good idea to do it as soon as you can get out there and do it. A lot of us have snow at the moment, which would make that difficult, but certainly before they leaf out all the way, because then it makes it difficult to stake them. New item that I've never seen before. Look at these adorable whitewashed baskets, hanging baskets. It's water hyacinth hanging planter, and they have this 14 inch larger one, and typically they're lined in plastic. They are, look at that. So they have the 14 inch is $14, so cute. And then they have the 12 inch for $12. Really cute. If I hadn't bought those wrought iron ones last year, I would pick one up because I really like the way these look. Very pretty. And then they have even a smaller one, a 10 inch planter. And these are, how much are the 10 inches? $10. I would say go for the bigger ones if you can. The 14 inches, they're going to hold more soil, which means they'll hold on to moisture longer, which is always a good thing. Plus that plastic will help as well. Don't forget to poke a couple of holes with a scissor or something to make sure that these can drain into the plastic. You certainly want to make sure that they're well draining. Some more lightweight decorative planters. They're resin material. So you have these urns here that are $25.92, and it looks like they're indoor, outdoor use, lightweight and durable, weather resistant finish, and they're 16 inch diameter, 20.5 inch height. And then this one here in the center is like a terracotta look, but it's plastic, which means it would be lightweight. Only has one little drain hole, so you certainly would want to drill a couple of more drain holes in there. And that one is $24.99. It says unbreakable, lightweight, UV resistant, and 100% recyclable. These planters are wild. They are so pretty, and I fully expected them to be a ceramic or porcelain glazed type planter, but when I tried to pick it up to check the price, it is lightweight. So it is clearly some kind of composite material, maybe some type of fiberglass, and that is excellent. I'm appreciating these lightweight planters that look like faux stone or concrete or porcelain a lot more these days, because they get quite heavy to move around after you fill them with wet soil, right? This size here looks like it's about a 14 to 15 inch planter for $20. And then they have this one above, which looks like it's about a 12-inch planter for $15. And of course, they have a full aisle of these glazed ceramic planters at really reasonable prices in such beautiful colors and different sizes as well. The prices range from around $7 for the smallest size, which is usually around a 6 to 8 inch, and all the way up to about $24 is what I'm seeing here. So really reasonable price range for these glazed ceramic planters. And they have drain holes, as you can see there, which is really important because you don't want to risk cracking these planters as you're trying to get more drain holes into them. Then they have these really large ones here that are $26. These look like they're about a 16 inch or so. And then this really pretty brown and green one is 28 with that ribbing style. These would be gorgeous to have some potted Japanese maples in, which I have a collection of them. So I always kind of look at these planters as a possibility for one of our potted maples. But really, really pretty selection here at Ocean State Job Lot. And look at this, the ceramic bird baths in some really pretty shades of teal and cobalt blue. And you get both the base and the top for $45. You just cannot leave these outside over the winter if you live in a cold climate like I do, because they will crack with that freeze-thaw cycle. Some more glass bird baths with metal stakes. These are great to add in the middle of a flower bed. They look really pretty, and then you have a little place for your birds, hummingbirds, and pollinators to get a drink of water. $12.99 for those. Just remember again to bring these in over the winter so that they don't crack with that freeze-thaw cycle. And these here are 15-inch mosaic glass bird baths for $29.99, and they have them in that orange red as well as some blue. Some more garden art or garden decor. This is really cute. It's like a little ceramic bowl with some birds on them. $12.99. I love this. I'm going to pick one up. I'm going to sit it on top of a rock with some water for our bird friends. Has a flower motif in the center. Very cute. It's concrete. It's pretty solid. These are really cute too. They look like a bird nest. So if you have a smaller space or even on an end table in the garden, really cute. Little angels. We also have some gnomes and some string lights. This always reminds me, these tiki statues remind me of that episode from the Brady Bunch. Let me know if you guys know what I'm talking about. The string lights are plug-in, and they're $24.99. You get 24-foot length with 12 bulbs. And then here are some more garden pieces. A yoga frog. I actually have a little bit bigger yoga frog in my garden that I really love. And then they have some pagoda pieces as well as a Buddha. These little gnomes are cute. They have a planter right on the side of them, so you could put a little succulent or a flower. Let's see how much they are. Oh, and they're pretty lightweight. Not too bad. $29.99. These are little garden lanterns. They're actually really cute because you can take the top off and you can put some kind of maybe a solar powered candle or a battery operated candle with a timer, and they would come on every night. Very pretty. $12.99 for those. I just got home from the store and I put away all the groceries, and I wanted to show you what I picked up today. So I did grab some fertilizer. I'm going to go through and fertilize all of my indoor house plants, and I grabbed this Espoma Grow for my seedlings. I've already started some things under the grow lights indoors, and I'm going to be fertilizing things in the next couple of weeks. And then I grabbed this really pretty planter over at TJ Maxx. I really love the print on it. I think it's really beautiful, and I'm going to put a house plant in there. And check out this super cute little shallow bird bath that I grabbed at Ocean State Job Lot with these little birds on it. It's concrete. I'm going to sit it on top of a rock that I have in my woodland flower bed, and I think that'll look really sweet. I also grabbed this really pretty sweater in this light spring green. It's like a sage green, and I really liked the flower pattern on the top and has a little bit of a puff sleeve. Really cute and springy. So I hope that you enjoyed checking out all of these really pretty spring gardening related items. Thank you for spending your time with me, and I'll catch you in the next one.